Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Well, I'm Rich Haney. I'm the new president here at Mesa Community College, and it's my honor to welcome you. Thank you for joining us today to learn about MCC's Immersive Total Patient Management Experience, or ITPME. We love our acronyms. So this concept is a two-day event that was developed by a cross-departmental team of innovative and very dedicated MCC faculty from our EMS and paramedic programs and the nursing, psychology, theater, film, and arts departments. The student-centric method of teaching they develop creates opportunities for students to learn from each other and to hone their professional skills in a safe and controlled environment, to create the most comprehensive student learning experience possible. Now, while I wasn't on campus to see the experience, I have heard a lot of positive feedback, and I'm excited to learn more, and I'm proud of the good work of our faculty and staff that have put into this enormous undertaking for our students. So thank you to them, thank you for coming, and welcome to Mesa Community College.
Welcome to the MCC Theater. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones and refrain from texting during the performance. Please note that this presentation contains graphic content that may be disturbing to some viewers. Thank you for your attention. Please enjoy this MCC Theater presentation.
Dispatch, scenes code 4, our victim is pulseless. Yep, we have fire coming. Right now, fire's on the way. Coming right now. All right, let's go, guys. Rescue one on scene. PD, are we code 4? Proceed, guys. Clipboard. What do we got, Matt? All right. So EMT is going to get the gurney set up. Backboard. Get the backboard. Where's the mom? All right, you've got mom for right now? Okay. Rescue 1 to dispatch, go ahead and contact Care 7 or your location, please. Watch your foot. Watch your foot. Austin, you need help on the other side. There we go. Are we good? Yep. All right, go ahead and assist. Nope. Got it? Nope. I got the gurney. Slide them up. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's slide them up. Up. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and get them moved over. This guy? All right. Matt, I'm going to need you on advanced airway. Moving in, we got to go.
We got to go. I'll give us a PD.
Austin, I need you on IV. Yes, sir. Janelle, go ahead and start compressions for me, CCR. Becca, go ahead and bandage the wound. I'm going to go ahead and give you this. Ma'am, we've got Care 7 coming right now, okay? So yes it is. We're going to let him take a look at it. We've got Care 7 coming right now, and they're a team that's going to be able to help you, assist you. We're definitely trying our best, okay? I'm going to have you stay right here with this officer.
Have you had any problems lately?
All right, you guys have any questions? Okay.
I need you. I have to be somewhere today. I don't know why. I just wanted him to call me. I just wanted him to call me. I don't know why I just didn't stay home today, Stephen. I'm so sorry. Please just open your eyes for me, baby. Please open your eyes, Stephen. Please open your eyes. I talked to him just a few minutes ago. He just called me.
Put this arm right here, guys. It's tucked in. All right. Let me get some information. You guys need anything else right now?
No, we're good.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to
I know this is a hard time right now, but can I get some information? What's his name? Stephen?
Yes.
Okay. And his last name?
Steve, we're going to make sure you're Thompson.
How old is he? 19. All right. Yes, ma'am. I can't tell you that right now. So what I can tell you right now, okay, he doesn't have a good shot.
Oh my God.
We're doing everything we can right now to save him, okay? As long as we give our guys some room, we'll take care of everything we need to. This officer here is doing a great job. This right here is Care 7. These guys are here driving the street right now. They're going to make sure you get the care and your family right now, okay? So let me ask a couple more questions real fast. Does he have any allergies to anything?
I got your back.
Penicillin, that's it, okay?
All right, perfect.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and give you right here to Care 7. It's okay. We're doing everything we can. Here, how about we help him as much as we can? Let's talk to this guy right here, okay? So this is, what's your name? This is Dolores. Dolores, this is Care 7. They're here to help you, okay? You guys got it? All right, how we doing, guys? What do we need? So this is Stephen Thompson. He's 19 years old. Okay. Only allergy we had this time. The tube is in at 1,500 hours.
Get that back set up.
There, got CPR.
Go, go, go.
All right, so tube's in at 1,500 hours. You got your IV?
It's almost done.
What do you got?
I'm waiting on that.
What size you have?
18 gauge in the left AC.
Copy. 18 gauge left AC. You're running blood tubing?
Yes, sir.
Copy.
Not off.
What size of tube you got?
I got a 7.0.
7.0. Do you know what it is at the lips?
25.
25 at the lips.
All right.
Copy that. We got equal breath lung sounds?
Yes, sir.
Okay, copy that.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and get him bandaged up. Keep going with compressions, okay?
Sounds good.
Right around you. Doing good. If you get tired, let us know. We'll switch out. As soon as we got the IV secured, as soon as we got airway secured, let's get them
IV
loaded.
is good. Go, go, go.
We got IV good, airway good?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get them loaded. No, let's put this up. So I need 2 people to help with the patient and the other 2 get in gear in the back of the ride, please.
I mean, I think that's small, but I don't know what. No one tells us anything.
Dolores, let me ask you, when was the last time he was seen? Talking, walking?
I just talked to him on the phone.
Yeah.
Got it?
Okay,
Let's
did he
see.
say anything prior?
He said he couldn't be wrong. He said that I was going to leave.
Okay. We're doing everything we can. We're going to take him to the hospital right now, okay? We're going to take him to the trauma center. We're going to do the best.
Yeah.
Stay with these guys. They're going to help you, okay?
Fine.
We're going to take him. That's the only note that we found.
He's right
Not
back.
sure where the weapon is.
Okay.
We're going to take him over to the trauma
We're going to
center.
do everything we can for him.
We'll be there. You got everything? All right. So push the positive button up. Okay. Sorry, lift up. Bring it on the other side. Go ahead. We're gonna lift up.
1, 2, 3. Get the wheels. Get the wheels.
Stand by.
It should be off.
Back up a little. You're good. All right, go. You're coming in.
Got it. To the side.
Lines are secured. Latch her in up there. All right.
Got it.
Everybody good?
Yes.
All right, let's get in. Austin, all your information is currently right here on this board.
Yes, sir.
He was seen about, or talked to about 5 minutes prior to our arrival. The only thing he told his mom is that he was feeling lonely. Okay? No vitals. 19-year-old male, only allergic to penicillin. Okay?
Okay.
We've got about a 5 minute each headed to the hospital.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Rescue 1, dispatch. Shows transporting the patient to code 3 to the hospital. Everybody ready? Copy that, here we go.
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Thank you.
This is medical lawyer on Rescue 1. How do you copy? We are calling a trauma alert here en route to your facility with an 18-year-old male with a gunshot wound to the head. He has an advanced airway, an 18-gauge IV in the left AC running wide open, and we are currently performing compressions. We're approximately 5 minutes out.
Sharps out.
All right. Medic clear. All right. All right, I want you two to switch. Okay?
Got it. Good. Okay.
Got it?
Second line's good.
Perfect. Thank you. On left. All right. Do you have, can you reach Clay?
Lane?
I
Yeah.
need Clay. Perfect. You want to, I need an assistance here with this head wound.
Yeah, you do that. I'll do the bag. You take care of that.
Okay. Here we go. Sir. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you got it? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, on 50, ready? 3, 4, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60.
All right. There's some assistance out there?
Whenever you guys are ready.
All right.
5, 6,
Make sure we got somebody on compression, somebody on airway.
You got that airway? Alright. As soon as you get out, I'll take over for you.
Okay.
You know how that works?
No.
Okay. Down. All right, I'll go ahead and do it.
All right. We're out.
Got it.
Got it?
time.
Okay, you got it on him?
Where we going?
Doors to the right. Right here?
Go down just a little. Thank you.
Hang it right. I got door.
Door.
I got door.
Got it. Watch
Watch
his
his arm. Watch that IV. Slow down, guys. Slow down. How's our airway?
Good.
Airway secure?
Yes.
We got 2 lines established?
Yes.
Copy that. How's our tube?
Good. Good placement.
Got that. Awesome, you gave the pass, I'm gonna let you talk to the doc. Okay.
Head first.
Okay, back into that. Good.
Okay, why don't you go ahead with the report?
All right.
Where are we at?
We have an 18-year-old male,
Okay.
GSW to the head, found in his vehicle with no pulse.
Okay.
We began compressions, extracted him from the vehicle. We have 2 18-gauge IVs, 1 in each arm, both running high flow.
Okay.
We have an advanced airway. It's going to be
Push it forward.
a 6.0
Then back. Yep.
Thank you.
and clear breath sounds on both sides.
Okay.
And we have the wound bandage.
Seatbelt.
Okay. Has there been any blood pressure or heart
Just
rate
take
at all?
from the back.
We were unable to obtain
Okay.
anything.
On your call. Ready?
Where do you want to grab that?
Got a little bit of a drop, watch the IV.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's, get him,
Up high.
let's go ahead and listen to his lung sounds, please.
Get this breathing out.
Let's listen to his lung sounds.
Watch the oxygen.
Let's get him hooked up to our monitor.
Got it?
And while we're hooking him up, I'd like to get
Coming on
a.
out. Nice, slow.
Sorry, monitor right now.
Lung sounds are equal and clear bilateral.
Okay, still does not have a pulse. Okay, so Andrew, could you go ahead and start?
Resume compression.
Let's go ahead and start CPR. Okay, keep going. Let's go ahead and aerate him. Good.
Now let's
Good
get his
bagging.
shirt cut off. Dr. Finch, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the shirt cut off. Keep bagging, please. He has a good pulse with CPR. Go ahead.
Keep going. Chest compressions. I'll work around you.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay, good deep chest compressions. Excellent. Okay. Go ahead and get those. There we go. Keep going with that. Good. Okay.
A little higher.
Excellent. Okay, hold CPR. I don't feel a pulse. And the monitor shows asystole. He's been down now for how long?
Roughly about 20 minutes now.
Okay. And how many rounds of epi? 2 rounds of epi
2
so
rounds
far.
of epi.
Yeah,
at
2
least
rounds
8.
before we arrived.
And go ahead and switch the leads. Okay. So in 2 leads, and he's still asystolic in 2 leads. He's fixed and dilated on his pupils. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to keep him survive. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to do?
Clear.
Okay, let's go ahead and pronounce him dead at 15:09 and stop CPR and stop the breathing. Guys, nice job on that. Okay, good work. Excellent teamwork. Okay, let's go ahead and the nursing staff can get a hold of family. Was there any family there at the scene?
Yeah,
There
there
was
was.
mom.
And they're
She
with
was being
police
handled
now?
by Care 7
Okay.
and PD.
And PD
She
was
should be
there?
on her way here. So.
Okay, excellent work, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Good job, guys.
This is the mom?
Hi, Mom. My name's Dr. Finch. I'm one of the emergency physicians. And I took care of your son. Let me bring you in. You know, unfortunately, he arrived and CPR was going on. We were actually pressing on his chest and breathing for him. And despite the efforts of what the paramedics did, and despite the efforts of what we did here in the emergency department, unfortunately, we were not able to keep your son alive. And he subsequently has died. Everything was done the best that we could, and despite our efforts, he unfortunately died. I'm sorry. He died. Yes. This is one of our nurses that was helping us as well, and I'm going to let you come in and see your son. He still has a tube in his mouth because they were using that when they were breathing for him. And we had to push on his chest and give him medications to attempt to get his heart to start. And despite all those efforts, we were not able to get him to survive. And unfortunately, he's died. I'm sorry. Let you be with him as well, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. What do you say after watching that? I'm Cameron Roeder from Channel 3 and CBS 5. I'm a morning show reporter for Good Morning Arizona and CBS 5 this morning. And it is a pleasure and an honor to be your MC this afternoon. There are a lot of important people at a place where there are 2 TV stations in one building. There's your Scott Passmores and your Brandon Lees and Yetta Gibsons, and then there's me. So for you all to invite me here, I am very grateful and honored to spend a Friday afternoon with you. Hope everyone made it here without a headache in traffic, but we do assure you when this is over, your ride home will be twice as long. That video there was a small glimpse of what it is this school, not just this department, but this entire school has to offer. And it's also a small glimpse of the reality that the people in this program will go through throughout their career. Earlier this spring, we were invited by Dawn and the staff here to come and do a segment for Good Morning Arizona, where we basically tried to show in a couple of different live segments this production as the students are going through the entire motions. There were multiple scenes from a car crash outside to the initial parents finding the person that's injured, to the ambulance ride, to the hospital, the whole shebang. And what impresses me most about this is how everyone can seem to coordinate together, because this is not just the first responding group of students who are learning here. This is the nursing department, the production department, I think it's production/theater. Actually, I have it right here. The psychological department, the theater and arts, fire science, and nursing. Those are 4 different departments who somehow are able to all come together and have a successful 2-day production and teach and learn. It impresses me because I work in the broadcasting business, which is based in communication, and one group of people can't seem to do that, can't seem to communicate. But you all somehow have put it all together, and it is amazing. I was very impressed with the entire thing, everything from what you have to realize when you're watching this is you're watching students who are in a scenario but do not know what is going to come next. You also are watching actors from the theater department who do know what is going to do next, and it's really based on their performance to give the nursing and fire science students a glimpse of what they are going to go up against. Because if they're not good actors, they're also being teachers, and they're not teaching the right way. So if you had any part to do with that video, if you'll just stand. We want to recognize anyone who was in here who did any part of that, the production, the photography, the ambulance driver, everything. Thank you all for your hard work on that. I suggested back there, I said, why didn't they do this live out here in the theater? I think that would be cool, because there's something about, I've been in these parts of these scenes as a news reporter. I've been there when someone has been shot and all the police and fire is there, and the family arrives, and there is a scream that a mother has when she arrives on a scene. And you don't have to see her, you don't have to be around her, but you know the mom just arrived. And that's part of what you saw with Dolores and her wonderful acting. Thank you, Dolores. As convincing as her acting is, they said it would not be a good idea to do it live, because the first responders in the room would try to get up and participate, because that's what you do. We didn't want to give you a heart attack and think that there was something actually going on in here. But although, with all the people in here, this would be a good place to have a heart attack. But that is not an invitation to do so. Please don't. Let's talk about this program and how it's established. It is established because of the people who helped put it together. from the different departments to ready these students for their career of choice, whichever it may be. And at this time, we'd like to introduce Dr. Greg Alistante from Honor Health. Oh, have I skipped a spot? You know what? No, you know what? You see, how this works is they give you a script, and all you have to do is read it. I didn't do that correctly. Now that I've jumped the gun, we have something else we're going to do, and we now have a small history of this event for you to watch. There you go.
In previous paramedic training programs, the primary demographic of students were fire service-based individuals or emergency medical service-based individuals. They would enter our program often with 3 to 5 years of experience already garnered in the emergency medical service field. Unfortunately, due to the economic downturn of 2008, we saw a large pendulum shift in the demographic that would enter our paramedic programs. Our current student demographic are entry-level providers, those individuals that have decided that they want a career in the emergency medical field or they want to be paramedics. These individuals have never ridden on an ambulance, have never ridden on a fire truck, and have never encountered an emergency situation. Mesa Community College had to significantly change our approach in training these students. The Immersive Total Patient Management Experience, or ITPME, was born in 2015. The idea started on a cocktail napkin during a break in the new faculty orientation. That break brought together an unlikely collaboration between faculty from fire science and the theater and film arts programs. The key question was, how could we collaborate in bringing realism to simulated incidents in the paramedic program? That thought evolved into ITPME. Since that time, there have been 4 successful years of ITPME, which expanded each year. Initially, it only involved students, faculty, and staff from the EMT program, the paramedic program, and the theater and film arts makeup effects. 2016 brought the inclusion of the Department of Nursing to the event. Now student nurses would gain experience in our simulated hospital, receiving the patients from the paramedic students. In 2017, the Department of Psychology and the 4th-year medical students from the Midwestern University School of Osteopathic Medicine joined. The medical students would take the role of medical direction physicians in our patch and courtesy notification room as attending physicians in the hospital. Psychology students staffed our crisis intervention units that would respond to the simulated scenarios with our paramedic students. The theater and film arts department stepped up their contribution by providing stage managers to run the event and actors to create well-researched and believable performances, not only of patients, but of their extended family. This increased the urgency and believability of the scenarios. Now Mesa Community College's collaborative parties come together again for another successful event known as ITPME 2018.
All right, I've been reprimanded. And now I will try to follow directions. All right, the ITPME program is not only a long name, but it was established to better ready students for their career of choice. And now we will hear from some people. Dr. Greg Alistante is not here this afternoon, but he is part of it. We want to recognize him, as well as Jenny Terry from the nursing department, Kevin Segerstrom from the psychological science department, Dolores Mendoza from the Theater and Film Arts Department, and Jason Hefter from the EMT Paramedic Program. Now, who's not following directions?
Hello, I am Jenny Terry. I graduated from MCC with my associate's degree in nursing in summer 2015, then went on to do my bachelor's at NAU. I currently work as a nurse right across the street in the emergency department at Banner Desert. So many of the scenarios that we went through in this program and that you saw in this video are things that I work with every shift at work. So in my last final months of nursing school, I got the unique experience to participate in this program. I was nervous because I didn't really know what to expect, and it was brand new. I'd been doing simulation for almost 2 years, so I wasn't new to that, but let me tell you, this is completely different. This was realistic. It was impossible to tell that these theater students were acting and that this was makeup because it looked so real, especially in comparison to the mannequins that we are used to doing our simulation on. So the detail was incredible. Theater did such an amazing job, pulled out all the stops. But the nervous emotions that you go through during something like this just take the takeaway to be that much greater. So last year, I played a different role in the simulation. I was a nurse mentor, guiding nursing students through scenarios and debriefing with them after. Once the EMS people leave, there's a lot that continues to go on, so it's good for the nursing students to go through all of that as well. It's something that I'm very passionate about, as I love teaching and I'm passionate about emergency medicine. So I had such a different perspective this year compared to 3 years ago as a student. But I do definitely believe that participating in these real life scenarios in the controlled environment where students get to, still walk through what they would do in real life but have some direction at the end, really prepare them to play the crucial role, from scene to landing a patient in the ER. And all the work that goes into this, because I know it's a lot, is worth it, because the impact that this has for the students is unmeasurable. I mean, it just really gives them the power to know that they can do this, because it is hard. It is hard work that we do. So I really appreciate all the work that everyone does every year to put this on. It's something I'm proud to have been involved with, and I definitely look forward to participating in the future. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Kevin Segerstrom. I'm an MCC student over at the Dobson campus and the Red Mountain campus. First, I'd just like to thank Dr. Lipinski for inviting me to this event and asking me to speak. It's quite an honor. So I attended this event last semester, and I didn't really know what to expect. I was just a simple student who got invited in a psychology class, and it was well, it immerses you in an entirely different world. I didn't really know what to expect, and I think that's the best. It really got me out of my comfort zone, and I think that's the best way to learn. It was really wonderful watching all of the training EMT and paramedics really help out in the scenarios and really train, and it was wonderful to try and help them out. What else can I say about this event other than I just thought it was wonderful. It was great. There's no words to really explain how fantastic this event is. Working with all the other care team units was really great too. Kind of made me feel more comfortable that other students were in the same predicament that I was. And to put yourself out there, I think the biggest rule that I learned from Dr. Lipinski was to establish rapport. We're really there to help out the EMTs and the paramedics and the officers that are on the scene, and really take a lot of the stress off of them, and whatever we can do to relieve them of some stress. And we're also there to help maybe the families that are in distress as well, to really just be there as a shoulder to lean on. I thought it was a wonderful event, and I learned so much, and it's really it's propelled me forward into the career that I want to pursue. So I would definitely be attending this event again whenever the next one is. I believe it's this semester as well. So yes, that's it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dolores Mendoza, and I am a business and theater student here at MCC. I've been very blessed to have been involved with ITPME since its inception, and I have loved every moment of it. It has greatly impacted me not just as a theater artist and actor, but also as a Latino person. ITPME has allowed me to practice my skills with special effects makeup, actor coaching, as well as improvisation, and delving into the mindsets of different characters. I've had anaphylactic shock, an ectopic pregnancy, urosepsis, schizophrenia, a stroke, and have been a bystander of a fretting family member more times than I can even count. I seem to have found my niche as the mother of the gunshot wound victim. I've cried over the loss of about half a dozen sons. I am guessing I'm not the best imaginary parent. This past year, though, we tried something a little different. I lost my son once more, but this time I did it only being able to speak Spanish. And I was lucky enough at least to have a translator, Natalie Bayan, who played my bilingual daughter. My actor instructions were to go through this same scenario that I had done many times before. The performances have evoked various reactions from first responders, ranging from indifference to frustration, but this time it really struck me what happened. I said, "Ayúdale a mi hijo," help my son. And he didn't know what I was saying. He asked me again what had happened, and I replied, "No entiendo, I don't understand." I continued, "No hablo inglés," and most people know what that means. I was bilingual growing up. Most of the rest of my family was not. My older sister, younger brother, and I are first-generation American citizens on my mother's side and second generation on my father's side. Both sides of my family are from Mexico. I have been in the scenario where I've had to be the mediator from someone trying to get help from a crisis, get help in a crisis, and needing to be the speaker trying to get them assistance. And being involved with ITPME has had an impact on me because many of my friends and family members have also been in that situation. And if we're able to help put these first responders in a setting and in these scenarios where they'll be encountering in real life, possibly every day, we can help them better prepare. When you're new and you're learning, it's so easy to get wrapped up in the task that you're doing that it's really easy to forget that the person you're dealing with is another person. So ITPME has helped me be able to ensure that one more person will be able to help communicate, or at least be reached out and treated like another person. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Jason Hefter. I was a part of the class that actually just graduated from Sean's program and officially, as of 3 weeks ago, a national paramedic. Thank you. But based off the video that you guys just saw, as far as any situations that we've had, any single scenario I've seen never runs the same way, and they're always just a basket of so much things, and it can get really stressful, as you can tell. And I think I can attest for people that have been in the program or past graduates that when you're going through those scenarios, even though you know that they're not real, they get you completely amped up and they get you so emotional. And by the time the 2 days are over, it's the biggest sigh of relief in the world. You cannot wait for it to be over. But you learn so much about yourself and really about how you work as a team throughout this entire development, I should say. Really, it's about resilience, in my opinion, when it comes to being able to see anything like this and then being able to go up and talk to family or being able to go to the completely next call and not letting stuff like that affect you. And when we're going through this, we're going through 10 scenarios in a day, and it's completely mentally exhausting. And by the time you actually finish, you don't even feel like you're human anymore. I mean, you're you're mentally drained, you feel like there's no life left in you. It's just like, you've never pictured the world like this before, and you think like, how can things like this happen? And it makes you appreciate, one, the profession you're getting into, but two, the people that already do it on a daily basis. It's like, this is stuff they do every day. And it really makes you appreciate, especially when people come when you need that help, to be able to come and they understand and they're caring and they are there for you. And that's part of the thing that with this whole program, especially with this whole event that Sean put on for us, it really gives you a perspective on really what the expectation is and really what they go through, and it really prepares you for when they put you out in the field, because, I mean, there's really so much training that you can get in the classroom, and then really what else are you going to learn from that without actually getting out and doing some hands-on experience with people? And without that experience, I mean, I would have had a completely different take on what I actually would have seen and how I would have been able to process information. And just talking with families, it's like it gets you more comfortable. You get a lot more confidence in you yourself, just because when you go through these stressful situations, it's like, I'm afraid of missing something, but just from going through the steps on everything that we've learned throughout the semester, it's almost just like muscle memory. You just roll through it, and you just roll through it, and by the time you're done, you're just like, I just did that, that's awesome. And you feel so awesome about it, and then especially being able to talk with people and being able to help out afterwards, or just showing them that you're there, it makes you feel so awesome. The one thing that they got me for when I was doing an interview at the actual event was how shaky my hands were by the time I got through maybe about 6 of the events on the second day, and just drying up medications. It's like, your hands, I just can't do any fine motor skills. It's like you're trying to hold a needle and you're trying to hold a syringe and you're trying to put it inside a vial, and it's trying not to stab yourself, but it's like, it's stuff like that it literally gets you that amped up inside that it gives you the most realistic experience to make you know what you're going to expect when you're out there. And the stakes are 10 times higher when you're out in the field, because this is us to grow. But when you're out in the field, it's completely different. It's about the families that you're taking care of, and the responsibility that you, for the last year, have been studying and trying to practice on and getting better at, so then that way when you get there, you can provide the best possible care for those people. And without this, I honestly feel like this program would be way different if this wasn't a part of it, and I wouldn't be the person that I am with where I'm at now. And it makes me appreciate that when I go to work every day, I am that much more passionate in how I feel. And when I see people who don't, it really irritates me, but it makes you want to push them to make them think really more so on it makes you want to get people more emotionally involved with it, and without that, it would have left a big part out. But I can't thank Sean enough for everything that we've had with this, but thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you all for your testimonial of why this college and this program is so great. I hope that if there are any grant writers or scholarship folks in here who are contemplating giving some money to this school, maybe you've been convinced now, the school would appreciate it. If there's also a young priest or a new young priest in here for Dolores' character that has lost 6 kids, you might want to talk. Thank you all. Now it's time for the program, part of the program where I have practiced this line all day in the mirror, because I get the opportunity to say, and now, our feature presentation.
Alarm Engine 1, you'll be responding to a report of an elderly non-breather. The individual was last seen last night at approximately 10 p.m. Family members on scene are refusing to perform CPR. PD is en route.
ITPME is important to provide because it simulates real-world incidents and allows educators to prepare their students in an atmosphere under controlled conditions with the most realistic, immersive scenarios in order to prepare them for the experience that they are going to encounter in their field internship portion of their training, as well as entry-level aspects of their job that they are about to enter. Many of our students have never run an emergency call, and these simulated incidents will be the first time that they have seen patients suffering from heart attacks, strokes, drownings, assaults, and traumatic events. ITP&Me serves to prepare them to a certain degree through stress inoculation, empowering them to deal with the stressors of the job that they are about to undertake.
Rescue 6.
Future paramedics.
We have a male, unknown age.
And emergency response teams.
Possible overdose.
Finding out what it takes.
You have a pulse, okay?
To save lives.
Going in, meds going in, Narcan's in.
The scenario putting these Mesa Community College students to the test.
We're breathing for us.
Finds an unresponsive junkie suffering from a heroin and fentanyl overdose.
Is he gonna be okay?
Theater students putting a realistic touch on the emergency while paramedics and EMTs work the problem.
This is life and death. So our providers have to be trained to be the very best that they can be.
Sean Newton is heading up the training program where students are meticulously critiqued throughout the staged scenes.
We like to produce scenes that are so realistic.
He's still unresponsive.
It exhibits a stress response in our students.
And it works.
Literally, it's like, my hands are shaking right now.
Really not an actual call, but it makes it feel like that it is.
And that's the point. Preparation for the real world.
2, 3, hit.
Paramedics eventually handing the patient off to student nurses and a resident doctor.
Sean, you're in the emergency department.
Who bring this young man,
can you open your eyes,
back to life.
You're okay.
It really isn't about getting an A, but it is about knowing how to care for this person who will be a real patient.
In Mesa, I'm Cameron Polam.
You may have taken too much drugs today.
ABC 15 Arizona.
So the big differences I would say between at least the ACLS and we were just working on the mannequins themselves, it's a mannequin. You don't really have to worry about hurting it. You don't have to really think about, am I hurting this person? Even though you're kind of just instinctually taught on how to do it, it should just fall right into place. Just having the real person that's in front of you and they're not breathing and they don't look good, it just throws more kinks into what you're normally used to seeing rather than it just being a piece of plastic. And with that extra piece that's kind of thrown in there, it makes it really, really hard just to remember the training that you've literally been yelled at to remember over the last year.
First of all, it benefits my students because it has a reputation and people want to be in it. And not everyone gets to. So it's not for every student. It's at the last year of their nursing program. It's right as they're learning intravenous medications, emergency settings. And I approach students who I feel would really blossom and grow from that. Some have thought, maybe that's too much for me, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. And that can happen, but overall, I give them a little understanding of what to expect without letting them know. And they're excited. They hear it's coming. I hear it's this semester. When are you asking for people? And so it's very beneficial to them.
In traditional learning, it's really in a silo aspect, and we really just see what our role is. We talk about what we do with other departments, but until you experience that with communication, how they fit into your place, how you adapt, how things exchange effortlessly, you really can't imagine that until you have an experience such as this. And why wait until you're employed to do that? Make yourself more marketable and be ready to work.
Can you speak any English, ma'am? No?
So ITP&Me was huge in my transition into becoming a paramedic in the field. I remember one of the scenarios we had in ITP&Me was an OB call where I walked in the bathroom and it was a 20-year-old female the bathroom was covered in blood. She was pregnant, she didn't know what was going on, and she was scared. And I had a very real call, or actually a real call that was exactly that. I was a new paramedic, I was a solo paramedic on scene in a rural part of Arizona. And I walked in and it was a 19-year-old girl who had just had a spontaneous abortion. And I was able to stay calm and collected and remember that I'm there to take care of the patient. And we have 2 patients on scene, and I was able to deliver quality care. I think the level of the bar that Sean taught us throughout the program, and I feel like the ITP&Me was really beneficial for that because I was able to stay calm and think through the problem and take care of the patient.
Because I was Spanish speaking, not every group had a Spanish speaker. And so some of them, if none of them knew Spanish, then they would kind of just look at your symptoms and they knew that they were being tested, and so they really treated this as though it was just a test. And then there were other groups that really were really into it, and they, regardless of the fact that I
didn't speak English, they would try to communicate with me like nonverbal communication. They'd make sure that I was okay, like that I was still doing fine. I can imagine it was very frustrating, and I do have a lot of family members and stuff that only speak Spanish, so it's like you're not only doing this as an acting experience, but you're really training these people for real life circumstances. So it's just like nice to know that something that I did can help these EMTs prepare for something that they probably didn't expect either, such as a language barrier.
So one of the things I really enjoy is that I did BLS training in Tucson. When you see the scenarios that we were given originally, it's literally a cue card. Somebody's telling you that this is the scenario on scene. And maybe you might have an actor that's laying on the ground, but you really don't get the scenarios that we see here, where people are acting out, where there's emotion and there's significant intensity to the environment. By having that in this role, I think that what's been created here is absolutely fantastic.
Going through those calls, even if it was mistakes were made, everybody learned.
Right? How quickly did we say we know what we're doing, we know what we got, we have it?
Scenario-based program that's been set up in a fashion to not only assess our paramedics, but to work together as a healthcare team. So we have physicians, medical students, nurses, psychology students, as well as our EMT and paramedics that really come together in a real-life simulated scenario-based program.
Our participation in this paramedic evaluation scenarios have been critical, I think, for our interaction with our other first responders. We have that component that teaches our paramedic students as they go out into the different careers that they're seeking, that they're going to interact with other first responders out in the field.
In the real world, most municipal departments have what they call a care team, which comes and provides empathy and support and sympathy to the bystanders. So I thought it was a great opportunity to give our students in psychology an opportunity to see what it would be like to use psych skills in the field. How a person might use the psychological training they have in a way that is beneficial to others. It's kind of touching to have students come back and say, I knew how to react in a certain situation in real life.
I just go stand in there, can I watch?
Can I send Joe to go?
Yes.
One of the scenarios is the pediatric drowning, and the idea of bringing a child on board and the liability and all of those issues. I was scared, and I just said, I don't think that we should do this. And I sat down with Sean, and he pulled out this picture from one of his first weeks on the job. And it was him holding this child who had drowned. And he said, this was my first week. And the emotion and everything attached to this is something I don't want my students to not come in unprepared. And that really, to me, then brought it up. I went, okay, all right, I'm in. I can see how I can really help you and how I can really make my students bring it for you. We found a sponsorship from Reynolds Advanced Materials, and that was fabulous because they are one of the top companies as far as producing prosthetics, and all the film companies are using them and stuff like that, and our students were using these high quality materials. They weren't just latex, and we were really giving them a special opportunity to work through.
I spent most of the time working on the GI bleed, the gastrointestinal bleed, developing vomit or the emesis to figure out the color, the texture, the thickness of it, and all the kinds of appearances of it. I also spent a lot of time trying to figure out the smell of it. I looked up a lot of things that just gave off strong inside smells, and I ended up using a lot of vinegars. I used like balsamic vinegar, apple cider vinegar, Parmesan cheese, oatmeal, and raisins. That helps with texture as well as like getting the kind of stagnant smell to it.
In this situation, these are real life scenarios, and so when you take it out of the video and you put them right into the middle of the scenario without any of the other stuff that you see online, you really make your heart pound. I mean, there are several scenarios that are actually that go on, and you walk into the scene, and with our fantastic actors that are on roll, it's very, very hard to not believe that this is a real scenario that's occurring.
What I'm gonna do, take my Lexi? How old are you, Lexi? 20. 20?
We've kind of learned a lot of things, figuring out ways to make it even more a part of the educational process. Our students are, as far as the actors, I've been looking into different acting techniques that kind of highlight this style of performing. Last year when I was sitting and watching one of the scenarios, I kind of went, oh, this is Meisner, which is actually one of the top film techniques for actors, and this is really just the same thing that you would do in a Meisner class. It's a little bit further down into the class, but we can then feed that into our classrooms, and it goes right into what they're doing here, and it makes it a really strong learning experience.
Second BP 130 over 90.
Couple weeks.
A few weeks.
Yeah.
Post 112.
You actually gain a lot from doing this as an actor. Before I actually started this program, I wasn't solidified in working with all of my emotions because you have lines. A lot of the lines that you speak, you don't say with the raw emotions that you get doing this. When you do these programs, you have to speak with emotion. You have to be real because it's people's lives on the line. I didn't even know I could cry on command until I did this. It's something that you just kind of, it opens up a whole other channel in you as an actor. And
that's the trick of theater, right? Is that usually there's a lot of moving parts, and our main person that does that in the theater is a stage manager, and that's actually a huge component in why this event is such a great event for our students, is because we bring in student stage managers to coordinate all of these things that are going on. So they are going and talking with the designers and saying, okay, how much time do you need on the day of to actually get these actors into their makeup? They are coordinating with the different coaches and scheduling all of the rehearsals so that it's all kind of taken care of.
It's experiential learning, and surely it's important to not be just face in a book learning, but to apply that learning that we get from class into a true setting so that we can make the connections and put that theory to bedside and for better use.
it did help me enter the internship phase by providing me kind of that the best simulated real experience possible, instead of just going into these scenarios in class and sitting there doing your little textbook answers and going through the process. It was more hands-on, and that's how it is once you get into the field.
So we create a medication room, just like in a true emergency setting, and they get orders from physicians, and they go up and they draw up fake meds, and they push fake meds in a fake IV port and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, we make it as real as possible. Piggybacked off the paramedic scenarios and created nursing scenarios so that when our students received patients, we had an agenda and things to do.
I personally don't have any field experience. I have 2 years of hospital experience. When I actually was able to get out in the field and witness a whole different side of the EMS field that I'm completely unaccustomed to, it really was a huge shock for me, just because I am the highest level of care with where I'm at. There's no nurses, there's no doctors. I am what's going to keep this man alive until I'm able to get the person to the hospital. And it's crazy when you need to start doing either fine motor skills or just thinking about what your process is going to be when you're going through, what are my next steps for what's inevitably going to keep this person alive. And it's like, you're trying to just use just basic motor skills, and you're trying to work with needles, and you're trying to work with syringes, and you just can't keep your hands still.
It still boosted my confidence and able to do the job.
It definitely helps build a leadership role within yourself, that you know that you are competent working as a medic.
About 15.
What happened? Can you tell me? You know where you're at?
Yeah, roughly.
ITPME impacted me in a way that was shown to my preceptors out in the field. When we were walking up on motor vehicle accident, a lot of them were like, you didn't really show much shock when you saw that. And it was, I've already seen that. I've already seen the bloods and the guts and the gore. Now it's, okay, I need to look past that and be able to actually treat the patient and see past those distracting injuries and into, what is going on with the patient.
With people being around that you've never met before, and it just brings the human element that's added to it. It's just, it makes it too real to a sense that it overshocks your body, and it makes it hard to do things. And honestly, since I've been doing a lot of my field internships, it's exactly how it is.
You would think that it would be one of those days where you just kind of go in and get to work. But I mean, you still understand it's a testing scenario. So, I mean, it had its moments where it was pretty stressful. It was probably one of the most realistic things I've ever done next to actually being on the job.
It's a way for us to use our talents and our skills to really help train and help prepare people so that when they're on the next scenario, they know. You know, they haven't just been tying dummies to gurneys. They've actually tied a real person to a gurney who wasn't sick, who could say, hey, that really hurt. I think it's quite powerful of what we can do.
I think it's 100% a benefit. The IPTME experience is like nothing I've ever seen before. I'm a former Marine as well, and I've been through a lot of different types of training, and the IPTME experience is probably the most realistic type of scenario you're ever going to get in this type of environment, other than actually going out and running calls in the field. You go into it knowing it's a testing scenario, but there are times on those calls that we were running, the calls, where you forget that you're in a testing scenario and it actually feels like you're on a real scene. You've got all the people in it, you know. It's the experience, the sounds, the confusion, the stress of it all that I think is perfect for, you know, medic students. It's what they need to experience because that's what they're going to get out there. It may not be the types of calls that you're running all day long, but you're going to get that one call where you can look back on the scenario that you had in IPTME and go, this is what I need to do.
There's no better place, you know, to provide this type of simulation training and really preparing these students to go out into the real world really is unique for MESA's program.
You know, you're going to be scared, you're going to be nervous going into college, you're going to see things that are going to shake you a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you're trained well, you have to make clinical decisions, and you're there to take care of the patient and treat them like a family member. So I remember feeling all those emotions and being able to do that on a very real level.
Their role as a whole is to produce a product that feels real, and that is honest, and that is true, to give the paramedic students something to react to. This past year, we actually added in a number of scenarios that they weren't complicated calls. It was more about the human aspect of it, you know, ground level fall of somebody who's been in the bathroom for a couple days, and there's issues that come up, and how do they clean this person up? We also had just a normal homeless guy that they've got to deal with. We're building better paramedics. We're letting them know it's not just all of these other, you know, great facets of saving lives, but these are people, these are humans.
We are creating scenarios and tweaking scenarios to really drive what we see in the field, what's really happening, what are the most common illnesses, emergencies, so that we are making students aware of what they're truly getting into. And it's really all just focused on what we see and what's out there for us. So we're really focused on the community's aspect of that.
No, I'm really glad to participate in this program. I think it's great. I really love how Sean and company have brought in multiple disciplines to not only give our students in psychology, but nursing, theater, film arts, paramedics, EMT, an opportunity to see how this whole picture exists in reality.
It's all about your students. It's their success. It's to prepare them for their next adventure as they move into now their full-time careers. And the value, you really can't put a cost on this. To preparing them, making sure that they can prepare themselves for the real world life events that they're going to face on a daily basis is critical to ensuring their success.
I think that total patient management is absolutely a benefit to students, especially with the growing trend of students that have no pre-hospital experience. You get people who have never treated people, have no patient experience, they have no way of knowing, once you actually get into these high stress situations, on how to talk to people, how you yourself are going to conduct yourself. And it's kind of weird when you get people who aren't used to situations like that. Like, I always make weird facial expressions when I just don't know what to say. Like, I just do weird facial expressions. But it's like other people, they might completely shut down. They will completely just stop working at that point. And if they're the only person that's there to be able to provide the care for somebody, and they just completely lock up and don't know what to do, that's someone's life.
It's good that MESA as a whole is doing something so collaborative that we can make it, you know, seen to other schools, other states, and be an example for how true good immersive learning takes place.
It certainly is a research or a hands-on style experience.
And that's what I really like as a medical director for this particular program. We can do something that's not only important, but it's unique. And what we do here is now going to be hopefully replicated not only regionally, but we hope nationally as well, because it's the right way to really provide the quality of education we need to do for not only our paramedics and EMTs, but really the entire healthcare team.
Okay, we're going to take good care of you.
After watching that, I think we all should be able to feel confident that if you have a first responder and they come from this school, then you're going to be okay. Now, in order to make all of this possible, we have to recognize some of the individuals and the organizations that help contribute. Otherwise, ITPME would not be the successful teaching tool and model that it is today for the students. So will the following individuals please stand and be recognized? Chief Garrett Reddington and Captain Greg Leone from Boeing Mesa Fire Department. Kim Levy from Grand Canyon University. Todd Larson from Honor Health. We'll just pretend he's here. Dr. Lori Kemper from Midwestern University. Janet Ryman, also from Midwestern University. And representing Reynolds Advanced Materials, Nikki Williams. Thank you. There is also a poster out in the lobby, especially for you, so you make sure you check that out as everyone says thank you again. At this time, I will now invite Sean Newton. He is the director of MCC's EMS paramedic program, and he'll provide us with an overview of their learning objectives that they strive to meet for ITPME. Here is Sean.
Thank you, Cameron. And thank you for wearing the pink shirt again. I love that. Wow, I'm humbled. I'm humbled to stand up here today and see all of the dignitaries and colleagues that assembled this Friday afternoon to share in our ITPME experience. I would like to first say a very heartfelt thanks to everybody in theater, film arts, and our institutional advancement offices here at MCC that made this event possible. They worked day and night tirelessly, and I can't thank them enough for putting this together. So thank you so very much. So I was actually tasked with coming up today and speaking about the learning objectives for the different programs, and that's boring stuff. That's boring stuff. So what I wanted to talk about was really how an idea that started at new faculty orientation here at Mesa Community College some 4 years ago. Thankfully, this is my last year of probation. But two colleagues that sat through what most people would say can be boring at times, but left there and left that experience having formed a bond and a kinship to having a student-centric focus and really looking at how two completely different disciplines could come together and work together to enhance the learning experience for our students. And that's something that's truly exceptional. And then to have my colleagues in the other departments, when I pitched this crazy story, like Justine and Ed, Steve Lieber, and our friends and colleagues at Grand Canyon and our friends and colleagues at Midwestern University, they didn't look at me like I was crazy. They actually said, hey, we want to come play too, and we want to experience this too. And everybody put their egos in the back seat, because a lot of times when we deal with our desires and the intensity of our own programs and our own professions, we tend to operate in silos, and we tend to think, it's about me, it's about my program and how successful it is, and that is not the case with this. And that's what I love most about it, is the collegiality, the interdisciplinary communication, the teamwork, and the fact that the egos took a back seat. The egos took a back seat, and the desire and the intensity to have a student-centric focus in everything we did with regard to this experience is what has made it successful. I was recently lucky enough to travel to Washington, D.C. with Dr. Finch. I just got back last week, and present our immersive total patient management experience during the National Educator Symposium in Washington, D.C. And we were lucky enough to be their general session speakers at that event. And we spoke in front of hundreds of colleagues from across the United States and Canada, and we shared this event and this experience with them. And I was again humbled by the outpouring of support from people that came up to me afterward in the mixer and said, we've been trying to do something like this for years, but we can't get it off the ground, and we can't seem to get our people to work together. We can't seem to get, people to commit. And my response to them was very, very simple, and it was consistent. My response to them was, it takes a good team. I'm often questioned with how we pull this off every year. The videos do it a little bit of justice, but you can see the logistics and the coordination and everything that goes on. And it truly takes a team. It takes a team of dedicated individuals from multiple disciplines and multiple areas that really come together and work towards a common goal. And that's what makes it successful. And I'm very honored and humbled to be able to be a part of that. And I have learned so much from my colleagues that I work with, especially theater and film arts. I myself, I'm a movie guy. Most firefighters are. I think, a lot of your tax dollars goes to buying very expensive recliners, because we do need our downtime. We need to rehab ourselves, and sometimes the way, in all seriousness, sometimes the way that we rehab ourselves mentally is we immerse ourselves in the film, in the arts. Because film and arts and theater, that's our escape, right? That's our escape from reality. And I enjoy experiencing those escapes from reality and immersing myself in the film and the arts. But in this unique situation, the arts and the film and the theater students bring us reality. They make this a reality. And this event would not be what it is today without all of the wonderful individuals that I've encountered in theater and film arts and their dedication. I love nothing more than to walk down the halls of the college now, and it's not my students that I get to give hugs to. It's all the theater and film arts students I get to give hugs to, and I get to see them and recognize their faces. And year after year after year, many students like Dolores participate in this event, and I get to see them come back and just do a better job. So when I talk about learning objectives and I talk about what is it we're trying to accomplish, it's really that. It's really, we're trying to accomplish a sense of community. We're trying to accomplish a sense of teamwork. We're trying to instill in our students basic fundamental beliefs that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They're part of a team, whether that be a healthcare team or a community team, but we want them to leave with the experience and the knowledge and the genuine feeling and desire to understand that they are part of something bigger than themselves. And that is something truly special. So the learning objectives are really tangible, but it's those things that I want to express. And I just want to thank everybody that is a part of this event for making it what it is today. My hope is now that we have been asked to be on the national stage, that we can encourage our sister colleges across Maricopa to work with us in making this a standardized part of our curriculum. You know, we have some wonderful tools here at MCC. We have a virtual incident command training center, which is one of its kind. It's one of a kind training center here at the downtown center campus, where people are immersed in simulation, where they have real lights, real sirens, and that one thing makes it so real. You know, they're tasked with training the future leaders of our fire departments and our police agencies and our ambulance companies within that center. And we are so lucky to have something like that here at MCC, where we can have our students experience that realism. And it's little things like that, you know, as a district, that we need to share with each other and collaborate. We're not each other's competition. We're a team. And I am so honored and humbled to be a part of that team. So everybody, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for being immersed in our total patient management experience. And to my colleagues, Justine and Ed and Steve and Addie and everybody else that's a part of it, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this a success. So thank you. Cameron, I went off script too. Because this is my job and this is my honor. It is my distinct privilege to introduce our Chancellor of Maricopa Community Colleges, Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick, to say a few words.
That's Sean. I forgot to introduce one of my bosses earlier today, so I am not going to forget right now, because we also have with us Dr. Linda Thor, who is one of the governing board members, and I appreciate that you're here today. So thank you, Dr. Thor. I was asked to comment on what I had seen, and after hearing the students, hearing Sean and everyone on the videos, I decided to follow my daughter's advice, which is never be repetitive and keep it short. There's nothing I can say that wasn't said in a very articulate way. But what I will tell you is I am very grateful that I am here. Thank you for inviting me to experience that, and I am impressed. You were going for realism, and I'm going to tell you, I was sitting there, and even though it was a video, I found myself with my heart rate a little elevated, and my breath was getting a little shallow, because I couldn't see whether or not Stephen was actually breathing. And I was hoping the simulation wouldn't end up in a real medical emergency. So the acting was amazing. And Dolores, all I wanted to do was jump in and give you a big hug, because you were actually getting to my emotions. So all that you wanted to accomplish as part of a learning, I was actually experiencing just from the video. I wasn't even obviously part of the simulation. So it is brilliant. It is the right thing to do. And I was impressed also with the fact that you mentioned in the video, and then you mentioned, Sean, that the idea came from faculty, new faculty, in a new faculty orientation. So I thank you for having the vision, having the creativity, and having the persuasive skills to convince everybody else of what you just said, which is this is not a competition. You need to do it because it is the right thing to do for our students. And I couldn't think of a better opportunity for hands-on experience. As some of the students said, it's not the same as touching the mannequins. It's not the same as sitting through a lecture. It's not the same as watching a video. When you have someone in front of you that is a real person, you probably forget that they're acting, and they did. And I think it is the experience that all of our colleges should provide to our students. So if I can be the champion with you to make sure that all of the colleges in the system have something like this for our students, just call on me, because I'll make that happen. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's how you train people to collaborate and to understand that all of these disciplines are actually integrated in a beautiful way in this program. It is interdisciplinary, is reality. You know, we may train people within a discipline, but when you get in the real world, you have to have all of the other skills and abilities to actually be successful in whatever chosen career. So I thank you. I thank all of the faculty, all of the staff, the college president. I have lights in front of me. I have no idea who is sitting in the audience. It's all dark right now, but if we have Dr. Haney here, if we have any of the deans, there's someone in the back that may be Jeff and Delora. Is that you, Jeff? Yay! So thank you to all of the people that in any way have supported the program and have given you the space and the time and the resources to get that done. So I hope it's only the beginning of other great things to come. And again, I really hope that it is not only a Maricopa model, but as you said, that it becomes a national model. So I invite you to present, I invite you to submit it for awards, certainly Innovation of the Year and other great things, because you deserve all of the publicity that is available. And thank you to the students who spoke earlier, because we do this work for you. And to hear you say that all of the things, all of the efforts, all of the work our faculty and staff put into this program has helped you become a better person, a better professional, that is just worth every penny that we invest in our curriculum, in our colleges, in our programs. So thank you to all of you for coming today also to be supportive of this, the program and all of our students. I know you're only a handful of the many, many people that has benefited actually from participating in this. So thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. And I'm calmer now. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, it's only a video and I know they're acting, but I was like, oh my God, please breathe. So thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, everyone. You impressed the boss. I thought I heard her say she was going to help pay for all the other publicity and things that you guys need. I thought that's what she said, Sean. Thought that's what I heard. But she said it best. Like I said, when I first watched this in the spring, it felt real, because I know what it feels like to be on that scene. And when I was there, I felt it. And you can feel it in the video. I thought it was because I was just nervous backstage, but you can really feel it again, all the different departments that work to put this together. I've already been apologized for going off script, but I just want to do something I have not been asked to do. But this program was put on by a bunch of people who have worked very, very hard behind the scenes, and I would like to recognize Sean again, Sean Newton, Fire Science. These are the people on the back of your program. Adriana Diaz, who's been backstage helping me. Thank you very much. Edmund Lipnitsky. He is in charge of the Psychological Sciences Department. He's in the audience somewhere, as well as Justine Williams, Nursing, and Steve Lieber, the police commander for MCC. All of them helped put all of this together, and they've been tremendous to work with, so thank you all. And with that, we are on time, and we are ready to get you right outside for that 5 o'clock traffic. I'm very much looking forward to it. I live in the West Valley, so I get to hit every highway. The 60, the 101, well, the 60, the 10, and the 17. It's going to be fun times in the car. But before we let you go, we are going to feed you so you're not hangry behind the wheel. In just a moment, this curtain is going to rise, and we'll invite you backstage here for some refreshments. Light refreshments. It's not a buffet, folks. Light refreshments and some hors d'oeuvres so you can get something on the way. Again, thank you all for coming here. Thank you for inviting me to be your MC. I spend most of my time outside in the elements with no air conditioning. When it's 110 degrees, they still send old Cameron out there. So it was nice to have some AC. So thank you all. I hope you have a great weekend and come on up and enjoy. Tell everyone that you see behind the stage and the production guys, thank you for putting on a wonderful event.